This video is sponsored by RenderHub, and they are hosting a very interesting 3D contest, so stick till later in the video to know all about it. If you're new to 3D animation, you're probably confused about how this is all possible. You see 3D artists working at studios like Pixar, doing some computer animation, and other effects movies and games with actors wearing some funny suits and cameras. And sometimes you see ads using some cool abstract animations. So what are these types of animations that can be used in these cases, and others that you probably never heard of? Before we continue, RenderHub is running the Sexy Robot Contest 3 right now, with a prize pool of around $5,550, so there is a real incentive to bring your A game. There will be cash prizes for the top spots, honorable mentions, and some WTF awards for funny or the strangest renders. The deadline for submissions is June 30, and winners will be announced on July 14th, 2026. You just need to create your own original sexy robot character, but the execution is what makes the difference. You can make everything, from cyberpunk androids to highly detailed sci-fi designs, and they even allow the use of existing assets. Talking about assets, RenderHub is a platform for 3D artists where you can find assets, learn, and share your work with a huge community of motivated 3D artists. Their gallery is a great place where you can get ideas, references, or feedback on your work. On top of that, the marketplace has a lot going on right now. There are plenty of 3D models on sale, a solid selection of free models which you can grab completely free, and you have clear categories with a search system that makes things easy to find. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link in the description and join the Sexy Robot Contest today. Bring your ideas and compete for a slice of the $5,500 prize pool. One of the main and oldest ways to animate anything in 3D is using keyframes. Character animation using keyframes is basically you manually crafting the whole performance of the body over time. You set the important poses called keyframes at specific moments, and the software fills in the motion between them. But you don't expect it to be like magic. For example, if you're animating a character jumping, you don't animate every frame. Instead, you place key poses like the crouch, the takeoff, the peak in the air, and the landing. Then refine how the motion flows between them. Same with something like a walk cycle, where you define the contact pose or the foot hitting the ground, the passing pose, and so on, and tweak timing and spacing until it feels right. The cool part is that you have full control over everything, like how heavy the character feels, how fast they move, whether the motion is realistic or exaggerated, because you're literally deciding the key moments that define the entire animation. That's why animators are often compared to actors, since you're not just moving a model, you're thinking about intention, like whether the character is confident, tired, or sneaky, and then pushing the poses and timing to communicate that through the body alone. But what about facial animation? Facial animation with shape keys is usually done using shape keys, also known as blend shapes, where you create a bunch of preset facial poses, like a smile, blink, raised eyebrow, or different mouth shapes, and then you animate by keyframing how much each one is active over time, basically mixing them together to form expressions. So for example, if a character goes from neutral to smiling, you would keyframe the smile shape key from 0 to 100%. Or for dialogue, you would animate different mouth shapes like A, O, M, and so on, frame by frame, blending between them to match the speech. And the final result is just a smooth combination of these shapes changing over time, giving you full control over the expression while still keeping things predictable and easy to tweak. The other major method for animation is using motion capture gear, but for body motion and facial expressions, they are gonna be different. So hear me out. Using mocap suits for body animation is basically turning the real actor's motion into a digital character in real time. So you or an actor is gonna be wearing a suit covered with sensors and markers that track every movement, and that data gets transferred directly onto a 3D rig. So in films, you will see actors performing full scenes, like running, fighting, and even subtle body acting, and those performances become characters like creatures or fully CG humans, while in game development, It is used a lot for things like walk cycles, combat moves, or cutscenes to make everything feel more natural and believable too, without animating every frame by hand. And the cool part is, it captures all those tiny details, weight shifts, timing, balance, and so on, which are really hard to fake manually. And this is also why it has become a core tool in both movies and AAA video games, for both realistic character movement, but the cool thing about it is that there are some affordable mocap suits too, like the ones from Rococo, that can help you do this work if you're an indie animator, game developer, or even filmmaker. On the other hand, there is a different type of mocap called performance capture, which is for facial animation. This basically changed everything, because instead of animators trying to guess expressions or build them manually, they can capture the actual performance of the real actor's face using cameras and sensors. So every tiny muscle movement, eye twitch, and lip detail can be captured. Then they transfer that directly to a digital character, which makes characters feel insanely real, and emotional too in a way that was almost impossible before. So in films and games, actors wear head-mounted cameras or get scanned while acting, and their full facial performance becomes the actual animation, meaning characters such as Thanos or realistic game characters don't just look good, they actually feel like real performances, and that shift basically turned digital characters from something hand animated to something that actually looks real. Now let me tell you about procedural animation. Procedural animation is mostly useful with objects, and it is especially useful in 3D motion graphics. It is basically about building systems that generate animation automatically, instead of keyframing everything, which is why tools like Cinema 4D and Houdini are so popular. But honestly, any 3D software like Blender, Max, and even Maya have those capabilities. So artists use things like clones, fields, and node setups to control how objects move, scale, rotate, or react over time. So instead of animating 500 objects one by one, you just set rules like, let's say, spread these cubes in space, add randomness, and animate them based on a noise field. And suddenly you got complex, dynamic motion that would take forever to do manually. And this is super common in things like abstract animations, logo reveals, and broadcast graphics, where you want that clean but complex look. What makes it really powerful in motion graphics is how flexible and non-destructive it is, because you can tweak one parameter and the whole animation updates instantly, which is great for when clients want changes, and they always do, by the way. For example, you might build a setup where hundreds of shapes follow a spline, react to audio, or get pushed around by effectors, and instead of reanimating everything, you just adjust values like speed, randomness, or timing, and the entire motion evolves. So in MoGraph, procedural animation isn't just a shortcut, it is kind of a whole workflow, letting you create these satisfying and complex visuals that feel way better than the effort you actually put in. Using AI is also another modern way of doing animation. For example, AI animation through video motion capture, which is basically taking a normal video, like someone walking, fighting, or dancing, and letting AI analyze it frame by frame to extract the body movement and turn it into 3D animation. So instead of needing a mocap suit or a full studio, you can literally use a phone or webcam and still get usable motion data. AI tracks key points on the body, then reconstructs the movement in 3D and applies it to the character rig, which makes the whole process way faster and way more accessible. And the crazy part is how much this is changing things. I mean, indie developers, small studios, and even solo creators can now generate realistic animations without expensive setups. And while it is not always as perfect as high-end mocap, it is improving fast and becoming a serious alternative, especially for games, films, and even quick prototyping. And I would say a more controllable way of doing animation using AI is animation tools like Cascador, which feels like having a small assistant sitting next to you while you animate. I mean, you still create key poses like what you do in normal keyframe animation, but the software helps you fill in the hard parts, especially the in-betweens. For example, instead of manually animating every frame of a jump, you just set the start and the end poses, and the AI can generate the motion between them based on timing, spacing, and learned animation data, which makes the whole process honestly way faster, while still keeping your original data intact. And on top of that, it can even predict better poses or help you position the character more naturally, using tools like auto-posing. What really makes it stand out is the physics side of things. I mean, these tools don't just guess motion, they actually apply things like gravity, balance, and momentum, so your animation feels believable automatically. And if you animate a character doing a flip or landing from a jump, the software can calculate a physically correct trajectory and fix weird weight issues without you manually tweaking everything. And in real productions, animators are using this as a helper, not as a replacement, so they block the main motion, then let the software handle the in-betweens and physics, and finally polish it, which basically turns hours of tedious cleanup into something much faster, while still keeping full creative control. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.